If you've been following me online, then you probably know a couple of years ago, I was so skinny. I was so skinny, I couldn't even bench the bar. I was 115 pounds, soaking wet. It even got to the point where I would do everything to avoid taking my shirt off in public because I was that pale, I was that scrawny, and I was that insecure with my physique. That's how bad it was. But fast forward to today, after learning how easy it actually is to build lean muscle, I'm now 100 pounds heavier, more tan, more jacked, more handsome, and more confident than ever before. And the most important part is this transformation was crucial to my success in my 20s. And in today's video, I'm gonna share with you guys the exact strategies that helped me go from 115 pounds soaking wet to 215 pounds tan, jacked, and handsome in less than 3 years. But before we dive in, I do wanna let you know if you are serious about building a badass physique this year, I'm gonna leave a link down in the description that you can check out after this video where you can get customized coaching with me to build your badass physique guaranteed. It's the first link in the description. Again, give it a check after this video, but other than that, let's get right into it. Part 1 of this transformation is gonna be your diet. That is the foundation to making any physical transformation. So if you're skinny, you've probably heard along the lines, oh bro, just eat more. No shit, but how much more? And also, what do I eat? And also, how many times a day should I eat? Well, the key, of course, is to be in a calorie surplus. Now, how do you figure out how to get a calorie surplus? You go online, you type in BMR calculator, you put your numbers in, it's gonna spit out a number like 3,000 calories, and then all you have to do is eat 300 to 500 calories above that basic metabolic rate. And you can track your calories using MyFitnessPal and a $10 scale from Amazon, and then you can be in a calorie surplus, gaining a couple pounds of lean muscle each and every single month. Now, the key to eating more, because if you're anything like me, you have a fast metabolism, you have a low appetite, is to eat more meals each and every single day. See, before I got into getting as jacked as possible, I was maybe doing 2-3 meals each and every single day with a couple snacks, and it felt like I was eating a lot. But then when I actually hired a coach and he taught me how to eat, I was eating around 6 meals each and every single day. 5 of them being whole food meals, 1 of them being a liquid drink. And that exact meal plan allowed me to push up to 5,000 calories every single day for 6 months. Now that's incredible because I've always been a guy who just cannot eat. I have a low metabolism. But I found out as I started to eat more, my hunger came up and it made it easier to eat. Because think about it, what's easier to eat? 3 1,000 calorie meals or 5 600 calorie meals? Now the key to getting big and bulking up is just what I like to call eating the frog right in the morning. What does that mean? Do the hard thing right when you wake up, which is eating that big meal. See, eating a big meal each and every single morning was crucial to bulking up. Because if I put off my meals, if I fasted in the morning or waited till lunch, I found it a lot harder to eat that first meal of the day versus if I just woke up and had, a dozen pancakes. My go-to breakfast when I got to 250 pounds was this right here. It was 6 slices of toast with butter and jelly on it. It was like 6 to 8 eggs, and it was a full cup of oatmeal with whey protein inside of it. It was a lot of food. It was over like 1,500 calories or something like that. But I just forced myself to shovel it down right in the morning, and that helped me eat the rest of the meals throughout the day. And so to give you a breakdown of what my meal schedule looked like, I would have breakfast, I would have meal 2 around noon, I would have another meal around like 3 or 4 o'clock, and then I would hit the gym. After the gym, I would have another big meal, and then before I went to bed, I had another big meal. And my 1 liquid drink was actually after my workouts. That was before my 4th meal of the day. Now, all those meals, they should consist of whole foods. You shouldn't dirty bulk and you shouldn't clean bulk. There should be an even balance between both. What does that mean? You should clean bulk until you can't eat anymore, and then you should start eating some of the junk calorie-dense food to get your calories in if you need to. But always start your bulk off with as much clean food as possible, and then as you raise your calories up, you can start to get into some of the dirty food, like the brownies, the cookies, just to get some extra carbs inside of you. But once again, remind yourself that bulking isn't about gaining weight on the scale, it's about putting lean muscle mass on. And so here's a really good diet hack that my coach gave me that helped me get up to 215 pounds and helped me push the threshold of 5,000 calories every single day, and it was a post-workout shake. This shake consisted of a little bit of water, a couple scoops of protein. I had 1 scoop of whey protein, which is a fast digesting protein, and 1 scoop of casein protein, which is a slow digesting protein, and then a whole bunch of dextrose, about 100 grams of dextrose. Now dextrose is, you can kind of think of it like sugar. It's a super refined carbohydrate. It's actually what is inside of Gatorade. And so you can slam down 100 grams of carbs really simple with dextrose. And it's actually really good for post-workout. It helps you recover a lot quicker. Now, if you're wondering what macros you should eat, it's pretty simple. Your protein should be around 200 to 250 grams of protein. That's a sweet spot. If you're lighter, 200. If you're in the medium range, 230. If you're a little bit bigger, probably 200 350 grams of protein. Now your fats, typically on a bulk, I like to have them between maybe 75 at max 100 grams of fats. Fats are good, but you don't want your diet to consist of a lot of fats because they're very calorie dense, meaning they're very filling, and they're also not that great for actually building muscle. You don't really need it. Carbohydrates is what you want a lot of, but you don't want to start off your bulk with a lot of carbs because there's something called insulin sensitivity. And as you eat more carbohydrates, your insulin sensitivity kind of goes to shit. And that means your body isn't going to be as good as making insulin as it could be. And insulin is the most anabolic hormone your body can create. And so you want good insulin sensitivity so your body makes a lot of insulin so you can grow more muscle. And so the way to keep your insulin sensitivity in range is to slowly increase your carbs throughout the bulk. So typically I start off bulks at like 350 grams of carbs. And my last bulk I maxed out at about 800 grams of carbs each and every single day. And that happened when my weight plateaued. I no longer was really building muscle and I was just kind of getting fat. And that told me that my insulin sensitivity went to shit. And you can find that out simply just by getting a blood glucose monitor off Amazon and pricking your finger a couple times, every single month to see what your resting blood sugar is at. You should do it each and every single morning. And if it ever gets above 100, like the number 100, then that means you have to do a mini cut or start doing some cardio in the morning to bring your blood sugar down. And by bringing your blood sugar down, it's going to increase your insulin sensitivity, allowing your body to make more insulin, allowing you to get more tan, jacked, and handsome. Now, when it comes to supplements, here's what I was using in my bulk that I found actually beneficial to spend the money on. The first thing is going to be digestive enzymes. See, when you're bulking up, you're shoving a bunch of food down your stomach, meaning that there's a lot going on down there. And so digestive enzymes are going to help your stomach break down that food a lot more efficiently than it would without them. And what that means is it's actually easier to eat more food, but second off, it actually keeps your waist a bit skinnier on that bulk. Second is going to be a good multivitamin. I like the Animal Pack multivitamin. This is like a comprehensive bodybuilder multivitamin. It covers like everything you ever need inside of a multivitamin. I'm talking vitamins, minerals, enzymes, like everything. You can get it on Amazon. It says to take 2 packs a day, but you only need to take 1 a day. And that's going to cover all of the micronutritional holes that you may have inside of your diet and help you recover faster and get bigger in the gym. And of course, you have your protein powders. I'd recommend having a whey protein powder that's fast digesting once again, and a casein protein powder that's slow digesting. And then of course, pre-workouts. I like to have a mixture of stimulant pre-workout and non-stim pre-workouts. Personally, right now, I'm using Axe and Sledge. It's my favorite. Our part 2 of how I put on 100 pounds of lean muscle in less than 3 years is going to be all about training. See, the mistake I made and a lot of beginners make when they're first trying to get big is they follow the bro split, which is pretty much just, one muscle group per day. But if you're trying to get big and you're eating a lot of food to try to get big, then you can hit multiple muscle groups a day and be fine. The bro split only makes sense when you're cutting down and you're in a calorie deficit where you don't have a lot of energy to repair muscle and so on. So you kind of want to keep your training a little bit minimal. But if you want maximum muscle growth, then you should be hitting 2 to 3 muscle groups each and every single training session. Now, when it comes down to how many days a week should you train, it's really up to your body, to be quite honest with you. Sam Sulek said this once, and I heavily believe inside of this. If you think you can train, but you have a programmed in rest day, it wouldn't make sense to just take the rest day. If you feel like you can train, go train. But what I have found has worked best for me is 3 days on, 1 day off. 3 days on, 1 day off. It's like an 8-day workout split with 2 rest days built inside of it after every 3 days of training. And it's important to listen to your body when to take rest days because the most important part of bulking up is actually the recovery aspect. It's not training, right? Going to the gym is simply just telling the muscle to build more muscle. But recovery is actually where the muscle is built. And so the best test for when you should take a rest day is simply just squeeze your hand just like this. And if you feel like you can make a strong fist, then you can go train. Your central nervous system is fine. As long as your body feels fine, you're good to go. But if the fist feels quite weak and you feel like your central nervous system is kind of run down, then you should probably go take a rest day. Now, when it comes to the split, once again, you should hit 2 to 3 muscle groups a day. My favorite split for bulking up is going to be kind of like the Arnold split. That's going to be chest and back on day 1, shoulders and arms on day 2, legs on day 3, take a rest, and then you repeat that cycle once again. Now, my second favorite split is where you're going to actually build out a bro split, but you're going to add your lacking muscle groups to those days. So let's say, for example, you got chest, back, legs, rest. You're going to hit chest, but then you're also going to hit, let's say, arms on that day. Then you're going to hit back, then you're going to also hit shoulders on that day. And then you're going to hit legs, but you're also going to hit, well, you can train the entire leg on leg day. At the end of the day, the way the split works doesn't really matter. What matters is as long as you are hitting the muscle groups, evenly, and then adding in some lacking adding muscle groups to that split, that's good. Now, what's more important than the split is actually what you're doing in the gym. When you get in the gym, and let's say it's chest and shoulder day, you should be focusing on heavy compounds at the very beginning of the workout. So your heavy compounds for chest and shoulders is going to be like bench press, dumbbells, anything that's going to hit multiple muscle groups. And then later in the workout, you should focus on your isolation exercises. For chest day, that's going to be like a chest fly. It's going to solely focus on just that chest muscle. Machines are good for later in the workout, but not in the very beginning of the workout, because when you think about using a machine, it's assisted. You know, your muscle can only move in one plane of direction. But when you do a free weight exercise, you're actually hitting a whole bunch more of the muscle group. So once again, always start your workouts with free weights and then move into machines later on in the workout. Now, when it comes down to how many sets you should do, you got to be doing high volume. If you want to look like a bodybuilder, you got to train like a bodybuilder. And the way bodybuilders get big, it's called hypertrophy. And that simply means doing a shit ton of volume. And so right now, my workouts follow this right here. It's going to be 2 feeder sets. What does that mean? It's kind of like a warm-up set. You're leading into the top sets. So that's going to be around maybe 60 to 80% of your potential in that exercise. But then you're going to have around 3 working sets. Yeah, a total of 5 sets. But these 3 working sets are where you are going as hard as possible. That right there will get you 5 sets in total, which is going to be a lot of volume. The best rep range doesn't really matter. Anything between 6 to 15, even 20, it's all going to do the same thing, honestly. My favorite rep range is going to be around 8 to 12. Now, if 5 sets is too much for you, which it may be, you may just have to build up your training endurance a little bit over time, then you can start off your exercises with around 3 sets per exercise. But then over time, build up to those 5 sets in total. So what that would look like is maybe 1 to 2 warm-up sets and then 1 top set. But you can also incorporate things like drop sets, which is where the very last set, you maybe drop the weight 2 or 3 times and you just go as hard as possible. At the end of the day, what that simply means is just train with intensity. If you train with intensity and you truly give that workout your all, you'll get big. Now, just remember, recovery is sometimes more important than training. So once you actually start training properly, you're probably gonna be a lot more tired than you typically are. And that means you're gonna be spending a lot more time out of the gym. And sometimes people think, oh, well, I'm not gonna grow as much. No, you're gonna grow more by going harder in the gym and also by resting more. So remember to take your rest days. Those are most important to getting big. Now, part 3 to all this, and this is probably the most important aspect to making a transformation like this, is gonna be the mindset. You can have the perfect training program, you can have the perfect diet plan, you can have perfect genetics, but if your consistency and also your ability to give these things your absolute all isn't there, then you just simply won't get results. I actually got my head into the gym, like into the muscle. Instead of just being there to say I got my workout done and scroll on my phone and have my mind be all over the place, I was truly locked in. And by giving that workout my absolute all, like my fullest potential, I was able to yield such greater results. Because I can promise you, if you are more present in each and every single workout, you're gonna have like 30% more strength in your system that you didn't even know you had. Like, you can actually push so much harder in your workouts than you actually think you can. You just have to be there, be present, and truly be giving that workout your all. And then you can apply being intentional to everything else you do. When it comes to eating, again, most people lack the consistency with eating. So what's your intention behind the eating is the biggest thing. You have to attach outcomes to each and every single action you take, because the outcome you want is to be tan, jacked, and handsome, be 200 pounds, tan, jacked, and handsome, and fucking lean, right? But the process that gets you there, it's quite boring. It's not really sexy, let's be honest. But if you can attach a little win to each and every single meal, you're gonna have a lot more motivation to take action on actually eating the meals that you have to eat. Another example is your sleep. We all understand sleep is so important to achieving any goal in life, to becoming a better entrepreneur, to growing more muscle, to be just becoming a better person. And so to actually make sure you set enough time to sleep and get good sleep, you have to be intentional to make that happen. So just pay attention to your intentions each and every single day. You say you want this thing, but in each and every single moment throughout the day, are you intentionally taking the actions you need to take to achieve that intentional outcome? And that talk right there kind of leads into the other aspect of the mindset I needed to have to go from 115 to 215 pounds in less than 3 years, which was simply just accountability. Now, what is accountability? Well, it's in the word. It's accounting for one's actions. And so once you have an outcome-based goal for your physique, you need to have a process-based goal. What's the meal plan? What's the training program? What's the sleep schedule? What's the routine? What are the supplements, etc.? And then every single week, if you don't have a coach, then you have to take accountability for what you did that week. And that means to account for the actions you took, but maybe also you didn't take. And so if at the end of the week you didn't see the progress that you want to see, then let's be honest, it's completely your fault. And so then you quickly reflect and ask yourself, well, did I eat my 5 meals on Monday? If I did, okay, maybe it's something else. But if I didn't, then I must account for my actions, see where I went wrong, and then prepare for success the next week. Because success is when preparation meets opportunity. So each and every single week you have a new opportunity to achieve success. But you have to understand where you slacked off last week so you can prepare for success this week. At the end of the day, I like to tell people the harsh truth, which is you know exactly what you need to do to achieve your dream physique. You simply just aren't doing it. And then you just have to ask yourself, why aren't you doing it? Once you can figure out why you aren't taking the actions you know you need to take, then you have the answer to the success you want. Now, the last step to this lean bulking guide is going to be steps and cardio. Now, when it comes to bulking up, it doesn't mean get lazy and get fat. You still should be aiming for a daily step target and aiming for a little bit of cardio. So let's talk about steps first. So steps are going to strictly burn fatty acids, which is simply just fat. Where something like cardio, especially like running, that's going to burn carbohydrates. So having a daily step goal when you're bulking up is going to be great to keep the fat off while gaining lean muscle. A really good step range for when you're bulking up is going to be right around 8,000 daily steps. That's going to burn on average for most people around 400 to 500 calories. And again, that's going to be strictly of just like fat calories if you want to think about it that way, because that zone of cardio when you're just walking briskly is just going to burn your fatty acids once again. Now, talking about cardio, if you actually follow and implement everything I've gone over in this video, you're going to get really big, really fast, and you're going to come to a point where your heart literally just can't keep up with it. You're going to start to feel a little bit more tired throughout the day. It's going to be hard to walk up steps, and that's simply just because you added on so much size. Now your heart also needs to be trained. And so when you're bulking up, you don't just completely stop doing cardio. You should still do a little bit each and every single week. Now, once again, steps are the best form of cardio, but then a couple sessions of like incline walking or maybe a little bit of Stairmaster is going to be a great option as well. That's going to help actually train your heart while you put on a lot of muscle mass. And that's going to keep you healthier, get you bigger, and also increase your training endurance. Because once again, the biggest reason why people just get fat on their bulk is because their insulin sensitivity just goes to shit. Just eat a whole bunch of carbs. Their body doesn't have a good insulin response to it. And so it just goes straight to fat and not into the muscles to repair them and to grow them. And so cardio is exactly what's going to help keep your blood sugar down so your insulin sensitivity doesn't go to shit. Right now, I'm doing 4 20-minute sessions of incline walking each and every single week on my bulk. And that's my complete lean bulking guide. If you follow everything I said in this video, you're going to be so tan, jacked, and handsome over the next couple months that people just aren't going to believe your transformation is real. And those 4 things is exactly what helped me go from 115 pounds to 215 pounds in just a few years. And you can do the same exact thing if you just put your mind to it. And also, if you're somebody who wants some extra help, one-on-one guidance, and some accountability to make a transformation like this happen in a short amount of time, once again, that link is down there in the description where you can apply to work with me one-on-one for my Badass Physique coaching. And that's where I help people achieve the most amazing results in less than 6 months. Take somebody like Merritt, for example. He came to me looking like an absolute soy boy. 6 months later, he stepped on stage with shredded six-pack abs, striations through his legs, and just all around just looking fucking tan, jacked, and handsome. And the coolest thing about that transformation is not only did his physique change, but his mindset change, and that led to his entire life changing. See, to achieve a result like that, it's not about how, it's always about who. And the coolest thing about that transformation is not just what happened physically. Like, yeah, he made an amazing physical transformation, but I watched this man just truly become the truest authentic version of himself, gain confidence and gain courage inside of himself, because the body is a direct reflection of who you are. So if your physique changes, that means you are changing on a deep level. And that's really what this is all about. Not just building a badass physique, but becoming a badass man and then living a badass life from that transformation. And that's really what this is all about. Not just building a badass physique, but also building a badass man that can live a badass life. Now, that's just one of the hundreds of transformations I have made. If you're interested in seeing more, just go to my Instagram profile, click on the coaching and results highlight, and you'll see a whole bunch of other men who have achieved a badass transformation. And if you want to be next, once again, look at that link in the description, apply, and I'll see you there. Other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll catch y'all later. Deuces.